Hello and welcome to Forever Sports. And the rugby world is currently losing its collective mind due to the incident that took place between Jaden Hendrikse and Jack Crowley on the weekend in one of the most dramatic rugby quarterfinals you will ever see. And I'll tell you what, plenty of drama over the weekend. Lots of playoff rugby happening around the different global competitions. And for the last quarterfinal of the URC, the last spot available to go to extra time to begin with, and then to a kickoff, which was described as a load of crap by Ty Byrne, which is fair enough. I think, as a big lock forward, I don't think you're going to sit there thinking, I didn't play 100 minutes of rugby to watch a bunch of backline players kick for goal to determine whether or not we're going through to the quarterfinal. But very interesting scenes down in Durban, and a bit of shithousery coming from Jaden Hendrikse. And Rassie has decided to get involved in the saga as well. Before we get into it, please do smash the like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. So basically what happened is that we had 80 minutes of rugby, and there's nothing separating the two sides, 24 points apiece. We went into extra time, and no points being scored during extra time. And as a result of both teams having scored the same amount of tries, then they went into a kickoff. And basically how the kickoff works is you nominate 3 kickers, and there are 6 kicks that are taken for each team. Best out of 6. If you're tired after those, you go into sudden death. And basically it goes from 3 kicks on the 22 to 3 kicks on the 10-meter line, center, right, left, for example. And basically what happened is that, to be fair, even Ty Byrne himself, there was a lot of cramp happening throughout the game, and one of the scrums actually had to delay because as soon as he went down, he also couldn't carry on with cramp. So it really showed you these players had put absolutely everything out there. They played for 100 minutes. A lot of these players played from the beginning, and your body's conditioned to go to 80 minutes, and that's kind of like at the max for your more sort of well-conditioned players. Anything after that is asking for a big shift. Going up to 100 minutes, that's a huge shift for especially the bigger players. Now, bit of context. Jaden Hendrikse was one of the kickers for the Sharks. He had also played a full game. And the Sharks went up to an early 3-2 lead in the kickoff. And Jaden Hendrikse then took his kick on the 10-meter line in the center of the park. And he slotted. Now, as soon as he kicked it, he fell back and started cramping. And was basically lying right next to where the ball was, where Jack Crowley was set to take his kick. And a whole bunch of medics rushed on, and it really delayed. Now, what was quite interesting is that Jack Crowley was very comfortable. He was perfectly comfortable to take the kick itself. He basically lined up, and he wants to carry on with Jaden Hendrikse basically like lying next to him, cramping up. He was very happy to continue and take the kick because he didn't want to be put off by, delaying it, for example. And, then what happened is that we then had quite a few Sharks medics, and they couldn't really move Jaden Hendrikse because they didn't want to move him until they could sort of stop him from cramping and the likes of that. And then the biggest thing of the weekend happened, which is that right there. So whilst he was down, Jaden Hendrikse gave a little wink and a smile to Jack Crowley, which has really riled up fans. Now, basically, that sort of wink means a lot of fans are saying that he faked the cramps and that he went down and it was a bit of game. It was gamesmanship. People are saying it's based on cheating. Come on, it's not cheating. I think that anything down that sort of alley gets a bit silly and a bit hysterical. But people talking about there's a bit of gamesmanship and that he was trying to delay Jack Crowley, trying to sort of play some mind games. Put in his mind, make him overthink, for example. And there's a certain amount of that which I think is a possibility in terms of being able to delay the kick and try and create as much possible as well. We had actually seen him, and Jaden Hendrikse always toes the line. He actually got shut up by the referee, and it was quite a frustrating part in the period where he actually didn't play the ball from the ruck, where I think they could have probably scored because he was too busy complaining to the referee about trying to get a penalty. And after his first kick in the kickoff, he already had lots and lots of words to Jack Crowley, and the referee actually had to tell him to move away and to stop it because he was saying a lot to Jack Crowley to try and get under his skin, try and put him off. And then this incident happens. Now, what has also happened is that Rassie is involved, and he's posted this screenshot. And this is basically to dismiss any claims that he was faking a cramp. And it's a pretty clear screenshot. You can clearly see that his calf there is in full cramp. And you can just see when the muscle contracts like that. And it's incredibly painful, and you can't really move. Jack Crowley actually didn't have a go at Jaden Hendrikse himself, funny enough, after the incident. He was actually one of the Sharks medics, which he directed the shot. So I don't know if something was said between the Sharks medic, because Jack Crowley basically just wanted to get Jaden Hendrikse moved out the way so he could take his kick. And it was delayed for a while. that probably didn't help in terms of really fueling the fire. But Jack Crowley, when he eventually got going, he basically stepped up, he slotted his kick and then turned around and gave an absolute mouthful to the Sharks medic, where lots of F-offs and the likes of that were uttered. And it gave quite a sort of an edge to it. And one of the big reasons I think a lot of Irish fans are then going after Jaden Hendrikse is that he was sort of basically fine, inverted commas, at the post-match celebrations. Now, as always, two things can be true at the same time. Was he cramping? Definitely. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I think you look at that and he was down. Was it as bad as it sort of seen in terms of how long it took for them to move him, for example? I don't think it needs to have necessarily taken that long. And everybody's talking about the fact that you don't stand over an injured player and the likes of that. But I do think that they delayed, and there were a lot of people on the field in and around the situation. I don't think there necessarily needed to be a lot of people. You probably needed one, maybe two medics, and that was probably it. And they had at least three support staff around there. And you can understand why Jack Riley is upset, because he's trying to get into his zone. He's trying to focus on his job, and now he's got lots of other people within the space. For example, comments potentially being made. It actually didn't affect him in the end, and it was actually the miss from Rory Scannell, which proved it the most costly. And that brilliant kick from Bradley Davids won the Sharks the game. But it is very interesting to see just how much people have had a complete meltdown over this act, and personally, I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing the people lose their mind on both sides. You got some people who are calling Jade Hendrikse a cheat and saying it's not on, and you shouldn't be allowed to get away with this type of thing. You should punish the likes of that. You got South African fans who are loving the fact that it is a bit of gamesmanship. People defending him, saying he went down for a cramp. There was absolutely nothing he could do. It's not his fault. But when you do things like this, you invite controversy, you invite criticism, and I actually don't mind, to be honest. Again, we talk about Henry Pollock and the fact that he's ruffled so many feathers with, that celebration and dropping the ball and the likes of that. He's a big personality. Now, Jaden Hendrikse is a personality like that. The biggest problem at the moment, I think, is that he's been struggling with a bit of form. And when you're going to have those sort of in-your-face personalities and have these moments, you've got to be able to back it up with performance. And that's why I really enjoy Henry Pollock, because he's a special player. And I love the fact that you've got a young, confident player who's willing to put himself out there and open himself up for criticism. And yeah, we saw the Bordeaux players mocking him with the celebration, stuff like that. But it's because, it's a player that they would have been a threat for him. So it's an interesting incident. I enjoy these type of things. I really think it adds to the conversation. Anything that gets people talking, I think is pretty good, to be honest. And the fact that we've now got this even bigger rivalry growing between Irish and South African fans is quite cool. As usual, some people take it far too far. I didn't really think of it much after the game, to be honest. I thought, it's one of those things. But amazing, people are still going on it. So the big question is, where do you stand on this whole thing? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.